What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and give you guys my price prediction for tomorrow based off what the charts are showing and based off what the data is suggesting. I'm also going to talk about what's going on with the news involving China and how this may affect NIO, some very important information about NIO stock, and also what NIO put on their Twitter page, which still makes me very, very bullish for the long-term future of this company. Now, before I break anything down, before I get into any more details, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire new community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And the best part is any could be a free NIO share. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 6 days. So check it out before they run out to get your 12 free stocks. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. NIO was down about 2.83% for the day, but overall we actually have a pretty decent looking setup. I do believe that NIO is set for a little bit of upside temporarily. Now, one of the problems that I do want to talk about is the fact that there are some tensions going on in China right now. I just want to quickly talk about that, but also talk about why I still think NIO could bounce despite this. Now, just to start us off, obviously the lockdowns ended in China, at least in the large majority of places. We are actually starting to see cases going up for the virus. I don't really expect this to be an extremely bearish catalyst for the markets, because the markets have seen this news countless times. It's nothing that's like surprising us. So I don't see this as a very, very bad event. But what could actually affect the markets is this right here. We are seeing a lot of tensions going on between China and Taiwan. Obviously, China is trying to make a very bold statement. However, what's good about it is the fact that nobody was injured from what I'm seeing right now. This is just like a warning. And as long as things do not escalate, there is still hope for the market to continue to push, at least temporarily, for this week. All right. So I really believe that that's what's likely to happen, especially given the setups that we are seeing for some stocks like NIO. But for other stocks like Tesla, it's still not looking that great, especially after the shutdowns. We're still seeing Tesla being affected. So not necessarily the best of things for Tesla stock. This could actually have a negative effect on the collective EV market, but I do believe that NIO should outperform. Now, looking at NIO recently, if you look at the way NIO is moving, the price pairs ratio came down in the past when NIO was actually crashing. It came up and it's still holding these levels all right. That's a sign that NIO is still holding up. It's not necessarily doing too horribly. It was only down like 2% on Friday, so that's a pretty decent sign. I'm hoping that NIO holds these levels and does not start to tank as of right now. I do believe NIO and the markets will tank going into the start of 2023, maybe a little bit after 2023 starts, because NIO does have deliveries to come out once we enter the end of December. But then after that, we have to be very cautious, because once the market tanks, that could still bring NIO down later on. Now, what else is interesting about NIO is analysts are still actually talking about the fact that they believe NIO is set for some more downside, but other ones are still giving NIO buy ratings. So I'm seeing a bit of a mix of the results. And right now, the overall short interest is still a little bit lower. So what I anticipate is we're going to start to see this go up a bit as the shorting continues, and we start to see shorts pile back in. They're just not really there to the same degree as of right now. So anyways, going back, what do I expect in the stock market? Looking at the fact that the put to call ratio is actually relatively high for Friday, this incentivizes market makers to push us up a little bit in the markets. So I do believe that we could see the market push up a bit, just temporarily, and this could even help NIO, especially because NIO had NIO Day a couple of days ago. I even made a video about this, and they have a new ES8 and EC7 Coupe SUV, and I think that NIO did very well by unveiling these new models. They're opening the branches of their audiences, and this could really, really help the share price for the long term, incentivizing more buyers to come in that have different preferences. So what I believe is going to happen is, looking at this candle, this actually looks a little bit more bullish, this hammer like setup. And you guys can see right here, the last time we got a candle that looked like this with the flat top, we actually had two green days, right? There was another time NIO had a candle like this way back here, and we actually saw the share price bounce off that. So we could see the long wick near the bottom is often a bullish signal. So I do believe NIO could bounce from here and actually show some signs of improvement. What basically happened on Friday was NIO came down in the beginning, but then it bounced a bit and started pushing up just a little bit with the markets. So it shows the market does affect NIO. I believe that because NIO has these gaps, I think there's a gap somewhere up here. It's very small, but you guys could actually kind of see it right here. There's a gap right here. NIO has potential to push up a bit and actually go for the gap fill because on SPY, I do expect there to be a small bounce in the markets and a bullish continuation just very temporarily because a lot of the shorts that started to collect profits down here, they're going to be looking for another opportunity. And we saw the market basically sell off super hard with very little reactions to the opposite direction. And what tends to happen is we get a small rebound in the opposite direction for some time so that the shorts could re-enter in better positions. So they're not like shorting it more here and here and here. No, they shorted it up here, right? They started shorting at 410, 408 on SPY. They let this thing crash. They're going to start securing profits. And then once they start closing those short positions, they start to buy back shares to hedge. And what happens is this could actually start causing the markets to push up a bit. And notice how once we hit 374, which is where many of them started securing profits, we all of a sudden got a small rally back to 382, 383. So I believe the market could go for this gap fill up here. We should see 385 on SPY, maybe even the 390 or so range. We could see the market have a mini squeeze, and it's not because the markets are going to turn bullish. It's because the shorts are going to re-enter up here in their positions to drag the market down for 2023. Okay, so that's what their plan is, in my honest opinion. I think it's very likely we get a nice reaction in the opposite direction and the market starts pushing up just a bit temporarily for the next couple of days. And I believe after the NIO day we just saw, this could actually help NIO push up a bit as NIO is getting tighter and we are forming this wedge. So NIO could start to slowly push up and reapproach the 11s. We could even hit 11.6 temporarily. However, like I said before in my previous videos, even though the technicals are telling us this, I'd still be very careful after this news that came out from China. Once again, they sent 71 warplanes and 7 ships towards Taiwan. Be very careful because if the news comes out that the unexpected event of an invasion happens, just hypothetically, the market's going to crash. NIO is going to crash. Everything is going to crash if that happens. So far, it has not happened. I'm hoping it does not happen this week. I'm hoping it never happens. In fact, I just want there to be peace. So please be very careful. If something like that happens, it's not going to be good for the stock market. It's not going to be good for anyone's lives. But as of right now, it has not happened, and that's why I'm talking about the potential for NIO and the markets to actually continue pushing. So for tomorrow, I'm predicting that NIO is going to have some sideways action. It's going to be kind of boring, but we could have another green day. We could see NIO slowly approach this gap fill zone over the next few days. If the market continues to pop, we could see NIO enter this 11.66 to $12 zone. We could see NIO trade up here temporarily. And please note that even if NIO pushes up, I do not expect it to hold these high values forever. Now, another catalyst for 2023, just to start off the year, would be NIO's deliveries. Remember, NIO has very high expectations for deliveries for Q4. Once the Q4 deliveries come out, once the month of December deliveries come out, and the entire 2022 year, the calendar year deliveries, who knows, maybe NIO pushes up temporarily for 2023 to start us off. But once the market tanks, which I believe it will super soon, I don't expect much from NIO. I do believe it's going to drag NIO down. Notice how the market started to tank and NIO was also tanking with the market. The market's starting to bounce a bit. NIO could bounce temporarily, but please be prepared for that, okay? I will make more videos about that for the future. But like I said previously, for tomorrow specifically, I believe NIO is going to just trade sideways in a boring way, and then it might push up a little bit back to the mid $11 range if the market bounces, which it most likely will. And this is all assuming we don't get a very bad piece of news. Okay, as long as that doesn't happen, there is definitely potential for the market to push up. If it does happen, be prepared for anything. Anyways, thank you all so much for listening. Right? Even though the short term is very capricious, there are lots of difficulties out there for everyone. I understand. Please note that the long term future for the markets, for the future, is still very, very bright. I'm still very bullish on NIO, guys, long term. I'm talking about many years to come. I'm still super bullish. But for the short term, there's going to be lots of events that come out. There's going to be lots of sideways action. So we have to be prepared for that and look at this as an opportunity, a very good buying opportunity for the long term. So thank you all for listening. Please remain calm, cool, and collected. Do what you have to do. Do what's best for your own lives and futures. And I'll see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon, because the long term future is still incredibly bright. And peace out.